What's up, y'all? Roy here, and you are listening to the Clemens with a Z podcast. Now, today's episode honestly started as a Substack article. If y'all aren't familiar with my Substack, it's called Devotionals for the Deconstructing and the Disillusioned. I post things on there periodically, probably about once or twice a week. But anyway, so I started this as just an article. It's about shopping carts and putting them away and what that tells about us. It was a big thing. And then I remember sharing a reel off that article on Instagram. And what was so funny about it was was how like the first two comments were pushback against returning your shopping carts. And I don't want to get into the weeds with this, but I just can't stop laughing since I posted those because it's like of all the things that I talk about here on this space and this platform and write about the things that like I got pushback from were me critiquing people for not putting their shopping carts away. And so as I sat with it, I just kind of thought, you know what? I'm going to expand on it because I think it's important and I want to do a whole episode on it. So here it goes. I hope you enjoy it and I hope you get something out of it. But I was sitting in my car, the grocery store parking lot, probably Whole Foods, maybe Trader Joe's. I don't know. But anyway, I'm just staring at this shopping cart and it's not near the cart return. It's not up against the curb. It's not even like casually off to the side. It's just sitting there, perfectly centered right in the middle of a parking space. Like, like in some way it got there early and decided to reserve the spot for itself. So I'm sitting there debating, do I get out and move it or do I just go find another space? And the only real thought running through my head is like, what the hell is going on out there? Because when you start noticing things like this, you realize that this isn't a one time thing, that this is everywhere. Shopping carts just left behind, in parking spots, next to cars, rolling slowly across the lot like they've got somewhere to be, or my personal favorite, the cart that's been returned, not actually returned, just placed near the cart return. Like it made it to the general zip code of responsibility, and that was good enough. And I know this this most of y'all are to people, this is like such a small thing. Like of all the things going on in the world right now, this probably doesn't even crack the top 10,000. But I'm telling you, there are moments where I lose a little bit of hope in humanity. And they don't happen on the news, they don't happen on social media. They happen in grocery store parking lots. Because there's something about this moment, something about this tiny, almost invisible decision that feels a whole lot bigger than it should. And the thing is, once you see it, like me, you can't unsee it. It's not just shopping carts, it's everywhere. It's the weights at the gym that never make it back to the rack, the trash left on the table at a fast food place, even though the trash can is literally 5 steps away. It's the empty coffee cup sitting on shelves in stores like someone decided mid shopping, yeah, I'm done being responsible for this. It's the movie theater floor. After the lights come on, popcorn everywhere, cups tipped over, candy wrappers just left behind, like a small raccoon hosted a birthday party. And look, I get it. Like, life is busy. I'm busy. We're all busy. We're tired. We might have kids in the back seat. You got a long day behind you. I'm not pretending like every moment is this big moral crossroads. But also, these moments aren't nothing because they all have something in common. Nobody's making you do the right thing. There's no rule, no consequence, no one standing there watching, no one going to call you out. Just you. And you decide, do I take the extra few seconds or do I leave it for someone else? And what's interesting is that most of us would say we're good people. We care about each other, others, we want to do the right thing. But it's in these tiny, forgettable moments that something more honest shows up. And if you pay attention to it, like me, you realize that the grocery store parking lot has its own cast of characters, like fully developed personalities. Start to recognize them and expect them. Let me explain these characters to you. First, you've got the curb launcher. This person is the person that pulls the cart up onto the curb just enough to feel like they did something. Like, well, it's not in the middle of the lot anymore. Meanwhile, the cart is sitting there, half on the curb, half off, just waiting for gravity or a strong breeze to decide its next move. Then you've got the parking space gift giver. This one's incredible. They leave the cart directly in an open parking space, like a little surprise for the next person. So you pull in thinking, wow, this is perfect. I've got a spot. And then you realize that you've just inherited a problem. You didn't choose the cart life chose you. Then there's the wind gambler. This person just lets go. No plan, no follow through, just releases the cart into the universe and trusts that somehow it'll all work out. And sometimes it does. Sometimes it gently rolls into a curb, and sometimes it finds someone's car. And then you've got the one that really gets me. The someone gets paid for this philosopher. Now, this person is calm, at peace, totally unbothered because in their mind, this is just part of the system. Someone works here. Someone's job is to get these parts. And technically, technically they're not wrong, okay? But also that logic can justify just about anything. And if I'm being honest, and I want to be honest here, I do. I've probably been one or two of these at different points, which is why, well, maybe why the next one sticks with me the most. This is the almost cart returner. This person does 90% of the work. Okay. They walk the cart all the way to right near the front door where the carts usually are, or the cart return. They see it right there. And then they just leave it next to it. Not 10 feet away, not across the parking lot, right next to it. Like the like the goal wasn't to return the cart. The goal was just to get it into the general area of responsibility. Like, hey, I brought it this close. Y'all can take it from here. And the funny thing is that like I didn't really always notice this stuff. I didn't. When I was a kid, I would go to the movies with my dad or the grocery store and, didn't look at this stuff. But at the end of the movies, the lights come on, everyone stands up. And what a lot of us do is we just leave our stuff in the seat, right? So this one time with my dad, I did it. I did what everyone else did. I just left my popcorn, my candy wrappers, my drink right there on the floor because that's what you do. It didn't feel like a decision. It just kind of felt, I don't know, normal, or maybe it just didn't feel like anything. And I remember my dad stopping me right before we walked out, and he pointed to the mess I made, and he just said, "You could pick that up. Like somebody has to clean it." And I did, and I picked it up, and I carried it out with me and threw it away at the trash can that's right before the door. And the thing is, at the time, it didn't really feel like some big lesson. It wasn't this like dramatic parenting moment. It was just my dad being my dad. And if I'm being honest, I was kind of annoyed. Like, I just want to leave. Everyone else is leaving. Everyone else is doing this stuff. But something about that stuck enough that here I am, 30 some odd years later talking about it. Because now, every time I see a shopping cart sitting in the middle of the parking lot or a movie theater that got looks like it hit by a small tornado, I hear that same sentence. Someone has to clean that. Because that moment with my dad, or when I see these things, it wasn't really about the popcorn or the carts. Because what my dad was pointing to, without turning it into some big speech, was something a lot simpler than that. He was reminding me that there are always people on the other side of our decisions. People we don't see, people we don't think about, people whose day just gets a little bit harder because something we chose not to do. And that's what sticks with me now. Not the mess or the inconvenience, but the disconnect. Because it's really easy to move through the world like everything just resets behind us. Things we don't think about. I mean, I see this with kids a lot. You know, it's like the table just gets cleaned. The carts magically just appear back in front of the store. The floor somehow gets swept. None of that just happens. There's always someone there at the end of it. Someone sweeping, someone wiping things down, someone walking out into a hot parking lot to gather up everything that we left behind. And I think for a long time, I didn't really think about that. Not because I didn't care, but because I didn't have to. Maybe that's the part of it. A lot of these moments, we don't think about them because we've never had to be the person on the other side of them. But it always calls me back to a personal place for me because I've been on the other side of it. I worked in grocery stores for almost a decade. And if you've ever done that kind of work, there are a lot of jobs that people don't really think about. They just assume it all gets handled. And one of those jobs is collecting shopping carts. And on the surface, it sounds simple, right? Like, how hard can that be? But it's not just grabbing a couple of carts and rolling them back. It's walking into the parking lot over and over again in the middle of July or the middle of January when the heat is bouncing off the asphalt or it's 10 degrees outside and you're sweating through your shirt in 10 minutes or you're freezing your face off. It's chasing down carts that the wind decided to adopt. It's watching them slowly roll across the lot towards someone else's car. It's pushing long lines of metal carts across uneven pavement while cars are just weaving around you like you're just another obstacle in their day. It's rain, cold hands, wet handles, late nights when the store is closing, and you're having to make that one more lap because there's still carts scattered everywhere. Every single one of those carts started as a small decision. Someone deciding, I'll just leave it there. And for a long time, that quote unquote someone else was me. And I don't think most people ever picture that person when they let go of the cart or drop something. So when I see a cart sitting in the middle of the parking space now, it doesn't just feel like a minor inconvenience. It feels like I'm watching that decision happen in real time. And so a few months ago, I came across something online called the shopping cart theory. And the idea is pretty simple. Returning a shopping cart is one of the few moments in life where no one is forcing you to do the right thing. There's no reward for it. There's no one giving you points. There's no discount at checkout for good cart behavior. Well, unless you go to Aldi's, because you got to put that quarter in to get the cart. And if you want the quarter back, you got to return the cart. Even in Italy, I remember doing that. You had to put a euro into the thing. But anyway, I digress. But I'm going back to it. There's no one giving you points, no discount. And there's no punishment either. No one's tracking you. No one's coming over the loudspeaker saying, "Hey, Steve or John or whoever, we saw what you did out there." No, it's just you and the cart and a really small decision. Do I take the extra few steps and put it back where it belongs, or do I leave it here and move on with my day? That's it. And the theory says that because there's no enforcement, no consequence, no external pressure, it might be one of the simplest tests of personal responsibility there is. Now, I don't know if I'd go that far. Like, I don't think we could sum up a human being based on what they do with a shopping cart, even though I really want to sometimes. Because we're all complicated. Life is complicated. We have moments where we're distracted, we're tired, we're overwhelmed, or it's even raining in the parking lot. But I do think it reveals something because it's one of those rare moments where no one is making you do the right thing. And you either do it or you don't. And those moments, they're usually small. They don't feel important. No one's watching. No one's keeping score. But I believe they're some of the most honest and telling moments that we have. Now, this really isn't about parking lots or shopping carts. It's about something a lot bigger than that. Because these kind of moments show up everywhere, not just in the small stuff, but in how we move through our lives. It shows up in relationships, in the things we don't say, the effort we don't give, the conversations that we avoid because they felt inconvenient. It shows up in marriage, in parenting, in friendships. Those moments where it would take just a little bit more effort to be present or to be patient or to actually show up for someone. And we feel that pull, right? That little voice that says, this would have only taken like 10 extra steps. And sometimes we take them, sometimes we don't. Just as guilty as this. And I think what's hitting me lately is that we spend so much time talking about the big things, the changing of the world, the fixing of the systems, having the right opinions. But most of our lives are not lived in those moments. They're lived in the small ones, in the quiet decisions that no one sees, that no one applauds, and the ones that don't get posted or talked about or even remembered. But they add up. They shape the kind of person we become. They shape the kind of environments that we live in. They shape what it feels like to be around us. And I don't say that in some heavy, guilt driven kind of way. Because I say it because I think those small moments are where something real happens. Not performative, not forced, just honest. And I think about that a lot now in moments that don't seem like they matter. Standing in a parking lot, looking at a shopping cart, seeing a trash can in my neighborhood that got knocked over because of the frickin' trash truck, sitting in the middle of a space. And I hear that voice again. Someone has to clean that. The older I get, the more I realize that the line applies to a lot more than a movie theater floor. Because in one way or another, someone always ends up dealing with what we leave behind. Most of the time, it's not us. It's someone we don't see, someone we don't think about, someone just trying to get through their day. And the thing is, doing the right thing in these moments usually isn't hard. It's 10 steps, maybe 20. That's it. 10 extra steps between someone else will handle it and I'll take care of this. And those moments aren't about being perfect or proving anything, but I do believe that they reveal something about how we see the world and about how we see other people, about who we are when no one's watching. So if you ever see me in a grocery store parking lot, walking a cart back where it belongs, just know I'm probably thinking about all of this. If you want to help me keep a little bit of hope in humanity, take the extra 10 steps and put the cart back. Hey, thanks so much for listening to this episode of Clemens with a Z. If something in this conversation resonated with you, I'd love to hear from you. You can email me at clemenswithaz@gmail.com or just send me a DM over at Instagram at the Clemens with a Z podcast page. If you want to support the podcast, the easiest way by subscribing, rating, and leaving a review wherever you listen to podcasts. Share it with a friend, post it on your socials, drop it in a group chat. It all helps more than you know. You can also support the podcast financially, and if you want to, you can head over to clemenswithaz.com. There's a merch store with all sorts of things, stickers, shirts, mugs, all that stuff. You can also donate directly through the GoFundMe. The link's in the show notes, and every little bit goes a long way in helping me keep these conversations going. If you're looking for something maybe a little bit more regular, you can check out my Substack, Devotions for the Disillusioned Deconstructing. That's where I share short reflections, articles, devotionals, and extra behind the scenes thoughts that don't always make it here onto the podcast. This podcast keeps going because of all of y'all showing up, engaging, and passing it on. So thank you for being here. Thank you for listening. And thank you for being a part of this messy middle with me. So until next time, take care of yourselves and each other. Peace.